Hello guys. So first of all, thanks to take interest in my Django course. So basically this is the Django course which I'm going to start, and this will be my first video for that thing. So basically, we are going to cover the whole Django part, all the basics, advanced techniques, and also we are going to make one project that is hospital management system. So basically, what I will do, we will move step by step, process by process. So basically, the thing is that it is not like that I have already made one project and we'll just show you all that stuff. No, we will move ahead with that project. We won't be learning like the things that all others do. Simply just teach you about what is Django, then what are templates, then what are URLs, and then what are views. Yeah, we will cover that, but we will cover in a more useful way, which will be used, which can be used, in fact, in a live project. So basically, a sort of we are going to learn by creating one project that will be hospital management system, and we will move ahead with that. So what will this do? This will not only help you to like learn Django, it will also help you how to work on live projects and what are the issues which we are going to face. So we will start with the introduction of Django. So basically, I will just start going to their main website, because whenever you start learning anything, the best thing to refer is the documentation, the original documentation. Why? Because the original documentation doesn't follow any particular frame set or any particular any particular module or something like that, means a structure they will be following or something like that. No, this project, that is their own website, their core website, is made in such a way that anyone can start, irrespective of any framework or any background. So basically, I will start with that, because it's very important that you understand how to use this website. This is the most important content that you will find on internet. And the second thing is Stack Overflow. So first thing is, why Django? So with the Django, you can create web applications from concept to launch in a matter of hours. Now, what is the first thing? What is web application? So now let me show you what is web application. So basically, now we will start with Django. So basically, everyone will tell you that Django is basically a web framework that is used to develop web apps and all that stuff. But before that, what exactly is web framework? What are web apps? This is very important part. We need to understand what is web app. So just let me show you this figure. So as you can see in this figure, basically you can see, okay, so you can see I have this figure that has been listed, has a backend, that has a front end, okay, and not only backend and frontend, and we have users and administrators. So what is basically web app? So as you know, there are websites which just shows static content. Static content means that you can just see the website, the contact number would be there, you will just call that number and tell them, yeah, I need this sort of service and all that stuff. The second is sort of dynamic websites that need a web server. So what are dynamic websites? Dynamic website will be if a user can interact with the website and the dynamic content can be provided to the user from backend, okay, dynamically means on the go. So that is that application which interacts with the server, sends a request, then gets the response back, and then the data is displayed on the front end part. So these are basically the web apps that has a client and server architecture. So front end, this is a client, as you can see, just ignore the writing. This is client and this is the server. So basically, Django is a some sort of thing which help you develop this web app easy. So basically, Django is basically a framework. It provides all the set of rules and standards which we can follow to develop a web app. Okay, so now what we get on what is this APIs? We will cover this in detail, but just for now, basically what happens at times when we create a front end and a back end application, there might be a scenario that the APIs are basically sources that link your database or your server directly to the front end. So basically these API can be open to public or private. So example, the API form is like this: www dot and your server name slash any name. So when the front end hits this web API, in response, this response which I'm talking about, this response, so the response will return the result. Front end will take that result, and that result will be used to display it on the front end page. Okay, so on this side, so you basically got it. So what we have covered, basically we have a backend, a front end in a web application where users interact with the front end, and basically they interact with the front end. Now they will send the request to the backend. Backend will process some requests and send the response in return. So basically, Django is a web framework that can be used to develop all these things. Okay, and the benefit of Django is that the first thing is it has its own backend server that you can write in Python. Then the front end part, we have Jinja templating system which supports JavaScript, HTML, CSS, and all that stuff. So basically, it's a sort of complete framework. If you know a bit of HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and also Django, you will be able to create a whole web app in no time. Okay, so now as we know what is basically a web app, now I think we can understand what is a web framework. So basically, web framework, I'm just reading this definition, which I have found it on Wikipedia. So basically, a web framework is a web application. So web framework is a web application is a software framework that is designed to support the development of web applications. So you got it. So basically, a web framework provides us tools, inbuilt tools. It is sort of that we don't want to reinvent the wheel. So basically, you will get all the tools which you need to develop a web application. So Django is a web framework that will facilitate and help you in developing a faster web application. Okay, now we all know what are web apps. These are web application, client server computer program, and all that stuff. For example, when you go to a banking website, you enter username, you enter a password. Now what happens? A request, you can see a request goes to a bank server. Okay, you will use username and password. So what happens, a request goes to this backend server. Okay, I don't know why this is not working, just let me check. Yeah, so a request goes to backend server. Your username and password are validated. You get a response that user is authorized to log in. A user clicks on login. Again, a request goes to your bank web server, and the details are fetched from here and then returned to your front end. Okay, so now you understand what are web apps. So now, why is the reason that we are going to learn Django? So basically, there are many web frameworks available on the internet. Some are related with Python, some are related with JavaScript. There are Node.js, React, and all that stuff. But Django is quite a good framework because it not only you get a hold of Python as a backend that is in itself is easy to learn and quite fast. And at the front end, you can use HTML, CSS in the Jinja templating system. What is Jinja templating system? We will read it about it in later. So just let me go through all these key highlights which are there. First thing is it has ready to use libraries. It means that there are many libraries that you just need to you import it and you are ready to use it. For example, authentication system. Django provides an inbuilt authentication system that you can easily use. You can see authentication support and many other libraries like templating system. You will get URL routing and all that stuff. We will cover all these things in details. Then we have database migrations and ORM. So what are these? So basically, we will cover in much more detail what are database migrations, but just for your information. So basically, when you create a particular model, basically in Django you create a model, and that model automatically converts your data to the database tables using ORM. Okay, and so these are the all things which we have covered.
So guys, now we will study what exactly is Django. So as you all know, basically Django works on MVT web framework. So what is MVT? MVT is model, view and template. Okay, model, view and template. So okay, remember model is something we create something. Like we create a model of a car, like we create a model of a chair or anything else. So basically model is the underlying structure of databases. Basically model deals with the data and data related stuff, and all that data stuff is added in the model. Okay, so there is a file in Django known as models.py for each application. So that models.py has all the database related things, right? Then we have view. So basically what happens, you will see these view gets the data from the model. Basically views decides what it has to show and what it has not to. So basically what happens, all the data, like views will get the data from the models and then perform all the business logic here. For example, if you want to print name, if you want to add two numbers, then what you will do, you will store like two numbers in database. Okay, you will store two numbers in database, and then after that all the data would be provided to this. Let me show you like a sort of like draw something like that, that will be much clearer. Okay, so here's your model. So basically what model does, model has all the data related stuff, got it, as I already told you. Okay, this is all good data. So for example, if I want to like sum, like it's very simple program, that is sum, like sum of two numbers. Okay, so in sum of two numbers, what happens, the business logic of this function, that sum function, would be reside here, and we assume that we have a model which has two numbers, like a number 1 and we have the second number as 2. So basically what will happen, view will get the data from this, perform the sum here, and then comes the template. So basically in templates we decide how we want to show the data in any form. And the best thing about template system in Django is basically you can use for loops, if loops, you can perform dictionaries sort of stuff. So basically that is the Python added in the templating system. So that makes your template more powerful and your like front end part more powerful. And after the all the logic has been done in this, the response is returned and it goes to template and the data is displayed to the user. So this is about Django framework. Got it?
So guys, now I will start like launching videos each weekend for you guys to study. And this was all the like theoretical part, so I haven't done much coding in. But from the next part, you will be able to see my screen, and we will move ahead with the coding part. We will first learn the basics of Django, how everything works, and after that, we will create a live project known as Hospital Management System. So please don't forget to like and subscribe my channel. This will not only motivate me but also my team. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.